You know, it'd be really great if that AC was not on right now. I'm sure that's ruining my audio. I think I'm actually done. You're doing the thing again. What thing? There's no thing. I'm not doing a thing. The thing where you say you're done, but then you're gonna pause and say technically not, because you're a perfectionist and you can't let anything rest, so you're gonna list off a bunch of little teeny tiny things that still need to be completed. Also, haven't the last 2 videos literally been you almost done with this thing? Told you, you're doing the thing. Called it, you're doing the thing. Well, I made a list and all the big things on the list are done. I have been adding a bunch of small things though. Okay, the list is the things. If the list is done, the thing is done. Do not add more things to the list. The list is the things are done. It's done. Would you stop? Get out. This is not a comedy YouTube channel. This is not what they're here to see. You are not helping. Get out of my video. Get out of my video. I'm just saying. Go on, you're done. Close the door. Thank you. Anyways, I don't know who that was or what any of that was about, but hi, my name is Mildly Gothic, and if you're new here, what I like to do is a variety of artsy things. And once again, I am joined by the ghost with the most, and by that I mean the most work and disgusting, and by disgusting I do mean looks correct, work that I've ever put into something. And so we are, yes, almost done. And I do in fact mean that. And this will actually probably be one of my, if not the last video. I want to make this the last Beetlejuice video before the convention, because things are getting a little repetitive at this point. So let's start from the top. What's new? Well, I finished redoing all of the moss. Absolutely all of it, with all of the embroidery. And the very last thing I did is I put some fabric Mod Podge on top. And I don't know how well it's coming across on the big camera. I'll have a close-up of it. It looks slimy. It looks really gross. It looks really wet. And so the Mod Podge served 2 purposes. One, the aesthetic purpose of getting that really nice, gross saturation to the slime, the shininess. And the second purpose is it's literally glue. If you've never seen it, I am using specifically fabric Mod Podge. There's gloss, there's matte, there's all sorts of different kinds of Mod Podge you can find. I chose this one because I am trying to adhere it to fabric, and basically it will serve as an extra line of defense for the moss to stay on the jacket. And so I have done it to the pants as well as the jacket, and that's why its arms are currently pinned behind its back, is so that I didn't, because again, it is glue, so I didn't want the pockets to get glued to the sleeves while I was doing that. All of the magnets are now in the jacket, with the single exception, one still needs to be put into the pocket, but the sandworm is now fully wearable. The core component of this costume is complete. I can wear the sandworm. I need to put one more magnet in the very tail end of the sandworm. It sticks out at a little angle from just around my butt, and I'm worried if I take it to a convention that it's going to get knocked by a bunch of people if I walk around, like if they get too close to me. Granted, it's on the other side, so it's not on the side of the puppet, so it's not going to have that protection of the puppet. So it's probably unreasonable, but I'm a little concerned about it, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a magnet there and not worry about it. I have the magnets to do so. So the jacket has 2 more things. You see why I make fun of myself? I need to put 1 more magnet in the pocket, and I need to sew up the center back seam where I have been accessing the magnets of the jacket. But that's really easy. That's just some hand stitching. So there are 2 other major updates. The first one is the wig. I got this thing fully grossified. The process for this was really interesting, but I have sewn moss into the lace front using the same color thread that the moss is. I've bought a bunch of embroidery kits over the years that I haven't really used, and so I just kind of went and dug through those and ended up finding a thread. It's not on the table. Actually, yes it is. A gray thread that is almost the perfect color match to the moss that I have. And so I used that to sew it on using a single thread from a 6-strand embroidery floss and sewed that onto the lace. So I still need to trim the lace, but then I went over it and I used paint to add black and green to the moss to make it look extra. I thought the gray was too bright. And so I've added a bunch of that extra stuff there, and I painted it into the hairline. And as you can see, we have gotten rid of the little swoop in the front of the hair. So the hair is now sitting back the way it's supposed to, and this is all very hairsprayed, so it should stay in place, but obviously I will be taking styling tools with me the day of, should I need them. But the wig is done. So I'm really, really happy with it. I think it looks fantastic. The color has grown on me so much. I'm really, really happy with this color. Is it perfect, Beetlejuice? No, but I've never dyed a wig before, so I'm really happy with it. The other detail that we have now is hands. So one of the things with, Beetlejuice is he is technically not human flesh toned. This man is the pastiest, ghouliest, like ghost white you've ever seen. So what I did, instead of following the classic cosplay trick of, wearing a full morph suit underneath, because I do know some people do that, but I don't have the legs exposed. I can just wear white socks if I need to. I only have my hands. So I bought myself 2 elbow length opera gloves in white and painted them to look disgusting. I have fake nails. So these are fake nails. These are actually the same nails that I used several years ago when I made this teeth monster thing. I put all of these teeth into liquid latex, but all of the teeth are actually just cut down fake nails. So I glued fake nails to the gloves, and that was actually an adventure. I tried with Gorilla Glue fabric, because fun fact, they make a fabric-based, like a fabric-intended Gorilla Glue. That didn't work the best, but it did create a nice little barrier on top that I then used hot glue to seal the nails on. So they bend back, and I'm sorry, this might be, I know some people get weird about nail stuff, but they're not my real nails, but they are like pretty well attached. I'm not too worried. They shouldn't need to do anything. But I used a stipple sponge in 4 colors. I used white to try to dull some of the shine, but I can't dull all of it. Green, brown, black, and then some of it, when I was doing the nails, I did some of the raw umber over it as well. So once I glued the nails on, I painted them with once I glued the nails on, I took the hot glue gun, and again, using like cooled hot glue, so either like just when you plug it in or right when you unplug it, like let it cool down a little bit, because too hot glue melted these nails. I did actually melt a couple. But I used the hot glue gun to make like these really gross like striations and texture on the top of the nail. And then once that was done, I painted the whole thing with a black nail polish. And then I did raw umber, and then burnt sienna, and then some other 2 yellow shades on top. I can list the colors on screen if I remember. With a stipple sponge to just kind of build up the gross textures to achieve this. I went around each individual nail once it was fully put on with more black paint, just to really emphasize kind of the nail bed and define where that was, because I thought it would make it look better. Any of the nail stuff I did on the left glove as well as the right glove, because you might notice, why did I make both gloves? Well, if I ever don't want to wear the sandworm and I just want to wear the costume, it kind of made sense to me to make both gloves, so now I can wear the costume without the sandworm should I want to. The sandworm's kind of the cool part of this whole thing, but just in case, I now have Beetlejuice hands. There have been a few things to the sandworm. Namely, I have gone ahead and put black fabric in the mouth of the sandworm. So now when you look at it, the only thing I still have to cover, and I'm thinking about just painting, the cardboard wrist strap that goes around my hand is exposed. That is the only piece of the inside construction of the sandworm that is currently exposed, is that cardboard. So I think I'm just gonna get in there and try to very carefully paint it black. But there is black fabric now on the bottom and the top of the mouth of the sandworm that is all glued in. So when you look into the mouth of the sandworm, you don't see my hand or any of the cardboard, you just see the black fabric, because I thought that was gonna be a pretty glaring construction thing. I still need to glue the eyes in, but that's like, I could do that the day before if I really, really needed to. But the point is, every major component of this costume, I can now technically wear as is and be far more comfortable with presenting it. I also completely forgot to mention that I did in fact finish the bow tie. So the way I've chosen to do the bow tie is I wanted it to be removable, and so I found a buckle. I didn't really want to try to deal with the whole hook specialized situation that a lot of bow ties have, mostly because that would have meant
ends on here, and now these are just loops. So I have 2 places of ends. This is the first one that got sewn on, is this tiny buckle that is fighting for its life. This is a buckle from a waterproof phone case that I bought for $5 from Walmart. And basically you just loop it through and sewed that on. I tried to fold under the end and make it a little bit cleaner. It didn't exactly work, but it's very secure and that'll be against my neck, so I'm not too worried. And then the other ends, so this strap was just folded in half, and I just stuck both ends of one tube into the end of the other and sewed that down with a nice little cross. So that's not going anywhere either. So the final way that this is all going to get attached is, this is my bow tie over here, and I'm going to keep zooming out because I don't know how framing works. And so as you can see, this is my undone bow tie, and yes, it's a little chunky because I didn't cut it in the normal bow tie shape. I like it a little chunky. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to hold that like that, and make sure I get this the right way. Hold that there, and then this piece comes around and is going to sew that to the back there. So in the end, I will have my bow tie fully adjustable, and we are hoping that this actually gets around my neck at the right size. I know it's big enough that it fits me. I'm just hoping it tightens down to small enough for what I want. So to be determined, but now I have almost all of my ends accounted for and a halfway decent bow tie. I have the point sewn on there, and it has a full buckle at the ends, but the bow tie is now fully adjustable. And actually, with the length I sewed it on and how I did it in the first place, it's the perfect length. I don't actually have to adjust it, but I have the ability should I want. There's the way that ending is there. But yeah, the bow tie is a buckle-on bow tie. It's not just a clip-on bow tie, and it's finally fully done.
So I am planning to do a wear test before the convention so that I can like braid my hair up, make sure the wig fits how I expect, how the face paint's gonna work with it. I bought wig glue. I have done a fit test with the sandworm, and everything fits perfectly with the sandworm. It all works together like that. So really, now I'm just waiting for the convention. So it is a month away, but have no fear. There is actually more cosplay content coming. It may be a little bit delayed because some changes are going to be happening. This wall is going to be painted soon. So that's going to change, and hopefully that'll make a nice fun backdrop. Lighting is going to be interesting, but we'll figure that out. That's not important. What I have to say is this cosplay has tested me in so many ways as far as creativity, ingenuity. Like, I feel like I've learned so much putting this thing together. Also, I'm considering making a build book. I'm not sure, I think I've mentioned it before. My plan is to go the first day of the convention and ask if they would want it. I'm gonna put it together anyways, and ask if they want it or if it's something that I can bring, even if it's just a few pages. So if you want video or content on how I put that together or what I choose to include, let me know. I think that could make for an interesting piece of the content. But yeah, I think I'll be switching over to my armor cosplay once everything is fully and truly buttoned up. So this will probably be the last you're seeing of Beetlejuice for a while. If you're watching this in the future and the next video is a Beetlejuice video, something went wrong. I'm gonna be completely honest, something went very wrong if the next video is a Beetlejuice video. I really don't want it to be. I think I've spent enough time on this. This is officially the longest series I have on my channel. And it already was the longest series before I went and started doing all of these little touch-ups and nonsense. So this is a journey. This is a process. I feel like I didn't actually accomplish that much, but this moss embroidery takes hours, is what it feels like. It's also really hard on my fingers and on my hands to pull it through multiple layers of fabric, especially on like some of the lapel areas, and like the pocket was the most challenging area for like this latest stuff. So that took a while. So this probably isn't as impressive of an update as maybe one would hope. I'm pretty proud of these hands. I think they look appropriately disgusting. And when I put them together with the full costume, I think they just look absolutely perfect. So I'm really happy with how disgusting they turned out. So I really hope you stick around to see this full thing come together. Unfortunately, that will not be until the end of April, but stick around for some more cosplay and artsy content coming your way. It brings me joy, and I hope it brings you joy. So thank you for spending time in my weird little corner of the internet. It has been so lovely to have you. If you liked this video and my nonsense, hit the subscribe button, maybe like the video, leave a comment telling me what you think of the gloves, what you think of the wig, how you think the color came out. Do you think the moss looks appropriately gross? Anything and everything, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. It has been a joy working on this piece, and I'm so happy I get to share it with all of you. But with all of that said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Ha! I knew it! Nope.